Hello again. Welcome back to the AGRC 210 course, Ag Sales and Leadership. Jumping into our next topic, which is identifying prospects and prospect needs and the whole prospecting process, which oftentimes is pretty intimidating whenever you get out there in the agribusiness world. And same thing if you're talking about leadership, is it's a little bit intimidating, a little bit scary. To develop a presentation for a group that you have to present to or a team that you need to lead, you have to understand their needs, and you have to understand how to prioritize what they need in order to help them out and be effective. So let's jump into this section on prospecting. First things first is we have to determine a few things. Who are your prospects? You've got to prioritize them for efficiency and then find everything out that you can about them. Some businesses have databases of customers out there and a little bit on their profile in terms of maybe how many cows they milk or how many steers they feed or how many acres they farm and things of that nature. Some businesses have a lot of that information and some don't. Some agribusinesses would simply, hand you the keys to the pickup truck and say, "Go find out about your market." And so therefore, you've got to develop that system on your own. So there's a lot of things that you need to learn about who your prospects are. Hopefully, you've got some customers that to fall back on to help put food on the table as you sell product to them. But you always need to be thinking about growing your business and who those potential customers are out there. Then you need to develop a prospecting strategy. So every time that you encounter a customer on the farm, in the agribusiness, whatever it might be, have a plan for every time that you make a sales call. Don't ever pull into a customer's operation just to chat, unless it's more of a social call and you have that kind of relationship with them. You'll tend to be known as someone who wastes their time a lot. You'll have prospects that go and hide, and so that they're not able to be found if you get to be known as someone who does that. So have a plan for every sales call, and it may be a relatively brief sales call. It may be just to introduce yourself, who your company is, and that you'd like the opportunity to come back and learn a little bit more about their operation later on. But hopefully you can schedule an appointment to do that, and they will accept you to come and visit, and you can make that quick, brief little introduction, find out who they are, put a face with a name, and then make an appointment to come back another time and learn a little bit more. Your plan doesn't have to be detailed, doesn't have to be to sell something every single time. You don't have to have a product that exchanges hands every single time. That's not going to happen, and it's not realistic. So have a plan for every sales call. So again, of course, be prepared for that formal visit, but be also prepared for the informal, what I call bump into conversation. We often will make the mistake of thinking, well, if I'm at a ball game on a Friday night, I'm off the clock. Frankly, that's not true. If you are known as a salesperson for a company, you are wearing that sales shirt all the time. That doesn't mean you need to purposefully sit next to a customer at a game and start putting the hard sell on them. But you just never know whenever a customer walks up to you or sees you at the concession stand or runs into you at the county fair, whatever it might be, that all of a sudden they strike up a conversation with you and start to ask you some questions or share some information about their business, learning about your product. And you have to be prepared for those kinds of things. Again, doesn't mean that you put the hard sell on them right there, but be prepared to collect that information, be prepared to interact with them. Because again, as a salesperson for a business, as a leader for speaking to a team of people, you're never really off the clock. People are conversing and working on that relationship with you all the time. So be ready for those kinds of things. So a prospect by definition is someone whom you are not currently doing business or only occasional business with. That's what categorizes them as a prospect. They would say that they don't have any loyalty towards you or your product. They probably wouldn't tell anybody that you're one of their customers. And most importantly, they represent your growth potential. So it's really important that you know who your prospects are. So let's look at some five rules for really good prospecting. Make sure your prospect plan meets your sales goals. Do you need to increase in volume? Do you need to maybe have a different type of customer? All of us have customers that we mesh better with than others. Do you need to add to the proportion of business that you earn from a current customer? Maybe you're only selling them one product when there's 25 that they buy. Maybe you need more resell potential, depending upon what your market place looks like. Enhance your market knowledge all the time. Always know how a market changes, how it refines your top prospect list. We all know that the landscape out there in the business changes constantly, whether it's those renting more ground and those that lost ground, or those that are adding cows versus those that are losing cows, those that are exiting the business versus those that are growing their business. Make sure that you understand that market knowledge. And I'm not talking about rumor or innuendo. Is actual market knowledge. What are people actually doing, and how is it actually affecting the marketplace? Use a variety of different prospecting methods, and I'm talking specifically about leads, cold calls, direct mailers, whatever it might be strategy-wise. Use a variety of them. You never know which one is going to catch a customer's eye. Prioritize your prospects. Don't just assume that everybody is a prospect and everybody has the same priority. There's going to be some customers, and you need to identify them in your marketplace, that are movers and shakers. They're people that other people pay attention to. Maybe they're big clients. Maybe they're high-value clients. Prioritize them appropriately as they match your product, as they match your business, as they match you as a salesperson. And then develop some kind of prospecting profiling system. Know who your top prospects are, who your secondary prospects are, who your bottom of the list prospects are. But they all need to be profiled and prepared carefully, because it's going to help you prepare for your first calls to each of those. You're never going to tell them. Everybody publicly is going to be your top prospect. But that helps you create goals for yourself. So some of these things are very difficult to define when we talk about goals. Sales goals are very difficult. Sometimes sales goals are going to be defined for you by a regional sales manager or by your company or business. They're going to want you to accomplish certain things. And sometimes they throw you the keys to the pickup truck again and say, good luck. We need you to go sell product for us. And there's really not much direction or guidance. But I would say that you're not near as effective unless you have personal goals. So 3 things to really think about. Do you need to increase market penetration? Do you need to increase market concentration? Or are you ready to go for both? Say, well, what the heck are those 3 things? Market penetration is, let's assume that I bring a brand new seed product to the marketplace here. We'll call it Heinz Hope Seeds. Brand new line of corn, beans, and wheat to the product line. And of course, I've just made that one up. So nobody knows anything about it. Nobody knows where my technology is coming from. Nobody knows what my yield history is like. So I need to obviously break into the market. I need to penetrate the market. I need to get some seed to some customers, some prospects out there in the marketplace. I need to penetrate it. That would be an example of market penetration. That would be my primary goal in that situation. Now, let's say we fast forward 5 years and Heinz Hope Seed has done quite well, and we've now established a niche in the marketplace. We've broken in and elbowed our way to the table amongst all the other big seed players in the marketplace. Now I need to increase concentration. Now I need to start picking off more acres and more customers to increase the amount of marketplace coverage that I have with Heinz Hope Seeds. That would be increasing concentration. And then if I say, well, oh man, I really want to go for it all, I really want to dominate the marketplace, then you go for the third one, where now you're looking for both. Now I'm trying to pick off new customers and get more of the acres that my current customers have. So that would be an example of some sales goals that you could develop. Make sure that they're realistic, and make sure that you set small, achievable goals along the way so that you can feel like you're being successful. Frankly, that's one of the challenges that I had personally as I came out of college and went into sales. I was in a brand new territory that nobody knew me, and it was important. It should have been made clear to me. I'm not, downplaying what my supervisors did. They were great people to work for. I just didn't necessarily understand what my mission needed to be. Let's say the first 6 months to a year that I was there is simply introducing myself and getting to know people and learning about their operations, which I did kind of naturally, but I didn't necessarily make those goals so that I could identify them and mark them off as I completed them. So I felt like I was doing a great job. I did successfully, break into the marketplace, and I started concentrating the market a little bit. I didn't stay long enough in that job to go for goal number 3, which is both for maximum growth, but I was getting there. But honestly, had I understood a whole lot more about a strategy for something like this, I might have stayed there much longer term, because that market exploded after I left. Maybe that was because I left. But I felt like I was doing a good job, and I was pretty well respected by the time that I did choose to move on in a different career pathway. But you need those goals as a new, young salesperson, and I would encourage you to work with someone who can help you establish what those should be. So, confirm those strategy goals. Analyze the market. Develop a list of characteristics of customers that are going to help you do those things. Stop and think about that very, very carefully. There are, if you think about this marketplace around our area here at the college, and no matter what segment of agriculture you think about, what's your preference, what you know about, there are customers in the marketplace that other people watch. They watch what they do. There are customers that are going to match you from a personal perspective. They're good personality matches for you. They're good social matches for you. They work well with your business structure. So analyze that market very, very carefully so that you can then employ those goals and utilize them the right way. Plan your prospecting time, and I cannot stress this enough. Plan. Make a very concerted effort to schedule your time. Otherwise, it's very easy to sit in your office, whether it's at home or a physical office, place of business, or drive around in your pickup truck and waste a lot of time. You don't have time for that, to be frank. You need to be making a number of calls every week, whether it's in person, whether it's on the telephone, whether it's via Zoom nowadays, whatever it might be. You need to be planning and prioritizing that prospecting time. That way, time doesn't escape you, and you're accomplishing things that your supervisors are going to wish you accomplish. Again, use a bunch of different prospecting methods, whether it's leads, cold calls, or segment-specific prospecting. You say, well, what the heck is each one of those? Leads is someone tells you, hey, you should go see my neighbor down the road. They're really looking for a new solution in their dry cow feeding program. That's a lead. And you better put that near the top of your prospecting list once those kind of things occur. Those are crucial, critical, and oftentimes lead to sales. Cold calls are you stop in and see someone brand new, introduce yourself, never seen them before, never knew them really before. That's what we call a cold call. And then last is what we call segment-specific prospecting. That would be you have a particular product in your product line that you are probing prospects out there and trying to break into the marketplace with a particular product line in order to help establish a foothold, kind of that penetrating the market concept. For example, I use this a lot with the career that I was in, we had an exceptional calf feeding program, a really, really great milk replacer, and an awesome calf starter. And I utilized that to get started on a lot of farms, and it kind of broke the ice for me in a lot of places. And then develop a system for prioritizing action with accounts. How do you move from one step to the next, and how do you keep organized with where you are with each of your prospects? Take very, very good notes. Develop a good profile information system, and these are all very personal records that you're going to keep on contact and progress. And I've got a graphic there of notes, and frankly, I became a lot better salesperson once I learned how to take good notes and keep very, very good call notes, very clear call notes every single time I made a farm call, as to where we were, what we talked about, whom we talked with, what product that we talked about, and where we were in the sales process. I would leave the farm and stop somewhere down along the road, pull off the side of the road, and quick make some notes in a binder that I carried all the time in my planner, so that I knew where I was all the time. And I think that is super critical even today, that you develop that method of keeping track of where you are. If you're selling a lot of product, it's hard to keep them all straight. So then identify the customers for life people. These people are crucial. If you can identify customers for life, they're awesome people to have, because they're going to be really loyal. You're going to be their first call. Anytime they need something, they're calling you. Even if they don't know if they need it, they may call you. You have, for whatever reason, similar philosophies. You just mesh well. They pay on time. Those are great. Trust me, it's very difficult to chase clients who don't pay on time. And then they have big market influence. They're movers and shakers that are well respected in the marketplace. So identify those people, and they should have kind of an asterisk, a star, highlighted, whatever it might be in your prospect profile, because those would be key accounts in your marketplace. And then you need to identify the single purchase prospects. Categorize them. They're probably only going to buy something from you when they need something, and they don't, frankly, see any difference between you and the competitor, at least at some stage, no matter what the product is. It's confusing sometimes why they don't necessarily value one line over the other, but that's just how they see it occasionally. They prefer product availability at a fair price, and sometimes very, very minimal service needs. So you need to know who those types of prospects are. Now, can you transition a single purchase customer to a customer for life? And I say when, why, how, and give an example. Yeah, absolutely you can. So think about those potential customers, or if you're thinking about a leadership situation, is you can win over, so to speak, those skeptics that are within your leadership group with great ideas and great relationship building, and then they kind of transition themselves to someone who's going to believe in you every time that you bring a new concept or idea or goal that you're trying to achieve. And they're going to be on your team right away, and they're going to help you achieve it. So yeah, you can transition them. So think about how you might do that. One of your case studies is going to, I think, dial into that quite a bit. We're going to pause here and call that episode 1 of Unit 4 when we talk about prospecting. We're going to come back with some further information. Stay tuned for the next episode.